I'm Davey,
And I'm Jackie.
and this is the Weekend Hangover.
Oh, I wish I could feel your blessings like it's raining, raining down, 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 down. Oh, I was stressing, no more questions. I was lost, but now I'm found. Now I'm found. Said I ain't never met a love till I found my God. Lord, you love me, flaws and all. You touch my heart, you heal my scars. I've been down so long, now I can't go wrong. I can hear the angels singing along. There's a tornado, in my city, when the demons tremble. Always winning, they try to tempt me, but we surviving. Of real repentance, sweet redemption, freedom time.
Hi, folks. We are a bundle of fuckery today.
Like, I don't know how to explain. It's crazy. All of our stuff is gone.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's nothing. We have no borders. We have no nothing. I don't even know if this is going out. I don't know. This is not going to get recorded. I don't know. I have no
I'm on
idea.
as a guest. Like, I can't do anything except for sit here and talk.
The apocalypse is on its way. I have no
Yes.
idea. I tried to make dinner tonight, and it was just batshit crazy.
What'd you try to make?
Know. I try to make my I usually do pretty good. I make chicken fried rice, which is actually really good, but this time I have no idea what the fuck happened. I have no idea. Usually pretty good with it, and today it was just soggy. There was too much sesame oil in it. I was trying to watch WrestleMania because I'm finally back into wrestling because it's getting good again. The Attitude era is back. You know, you got The Rock is back in, and you know, there's cursing.
Wait, The Rock is back?
Oh yeah, The Rock was wrestling last
Really?
night. It was great. It was the Rock and Roman Reigns.
Did he wear his Speedos like usual?
Yes, he did. He was back in his Speedies.
How did this get onto my foot? I'm sorry. I came from Vietnam, apparently.
Folks, pray tonight. That's why we started with that tonight, because we think everybody just needs to pray. There was an earthquake in New York and New Jersey. God is talking to us and telling everybody, slow your fucking roll.
And the Statue of Liberty got struck by lightning.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. That was insane. You got Diddy on the run. The Hollywood's coming apart at the seams, which everybody is who's known it for a long time. I finally found that video I was trying to find on Wednesday about producer Patrick. That's the guy's name. That is crying about all the people in Hollywood, the producers and all that stuff, not having jobs anymore, and people are doing Instacart and all this, like Grubhub. And sorry guys, where were you in 2020 2021 when we were all losing our jobs and people you were sitting there from your fucking high horses and helping people make songs like "We Are the World, we are the remember that? You remember that? Banging pots and pans, and all of a sudden you guys are feeling it
every day at 4 for the what were they called? Oh my god. What did they call them? Heroes, something heroes.
They were heroes until they didn't do what everybody was told to do, and then you know, and then you know, they were the scourge of the earth. So I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about, but this is the video because it kind of you know goes to what we talk about reality shows, and he's a producer of reality shows. He's done Survivor that we've talked about on here. Yeah. But like, reality shows are not reality shows. Sorry. They're scripted. You know? Yeah. And these people are just scripting out these scenarios, and every movie's the same movie. Nobody comes out with a new idea,
Yeah.
and I'm sick and tired of watching Batman's gay son because
What's Batman's gay son?
you didn't hear? I think one of the new, what is it? The new one of the new animations or Batman's or something like that. Superman's son is one of the gender fluid people, and it's like,
What?
yeah, yeah, and it's like, come on, like. Just make and everybody's like, oh, it shouldn't have been, you should put these are comic books. Make another comic book then. Make another superhero. You don't have to, if you're gonna make an adaptation of something, make an adaptation of it. Oh, I mean, it's just and then people blame misogyny and racism because certain movies don't work or certain scenarios don't work, like that all-woman Avenger movie that flopped. And everybody was like, "What's because of misogyny?" No, because it wasn't good. Because it wasn't good. Nobody liked it. Sorry. It's what it was. But yeah, here is producer Patrick, who Shipwreck. I don't know if anybody who knows who she is, but she's on TikTok and she has a podcast. And I was friends with her at one point, and I don't know why we're not friends anymore. But anyway, she kind of went after him, and then he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go on your podcast." And then she was like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And I'm like, "Yeah." But here is his video. Guys, bear with us because all our stuff is just all messed up. There's nothing.
It's I know. I'm trying to send it out on a tweet, and I'm like trying to find you. I can't find you on Twitter right now.
Really?
Like,
I know.
Yes.
I have no idea what's going on.
At? Like, what is it? At Troublemaker
MW
TV?
Troublemaker. No, MW Troublemaker.
MW. That's where I always get. Yeah, I have to like spell it all out to find you.
I have no idea what's going on.
Oh my god.
But here's people who are crying in the industry about, not having jobs.
The American entertainment industry is dying. I struggled about making this post.
By the way, notice something right around here? Oh, look, he shut the comments off.
Ooh. That's always a sign.
Yeah, he shut the comment because there was comments here. He shut the comments off.
But I think it's time for me to voice what's really happening behind the scenes in Hollywood. A lot of people have been asking me, well, Patrick, what's your next project? And I'll be honest with you, I haven't worked since spring of last year, and there has been no project since. After I wrapped my last show, Fight to Survive, and we saw the strikes looming for the writers, we thought, okay, this will be a lot like 07, 08. Since reality or unscripted television is typically non-union, we usually pick up the slack when the unions, like the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild, are doing their negotiations. And we expected this to happen last year, but it didn't. Since studios are run by corporations now, as opposed to executives who used to champion shows or support creativity or the artistry behind making television, that's just not how it goes anymore. It's slashing budgets across the board. From what I understand, the networks have simply run out of money. They all tried to adopt the Netflix streaming platform, get rid of advertisers, and work on just solely a subscription-based model. And that just killed revenue streams.
Ooh, pause it real quick. So then that makes sense as to why now you see on all of these like platforms and stuff, like they're putting ads and everything again. Like in Disney Plus, on Hulu always had ads and stuff, but like different like little things, even on Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, like you get ads, and that used to never be the case. And I'm wondering if what he's saying is the reason as to why. Because and I think in all of these platforms now you can pay more for no ads.
Yeah. Well, that was the reason why free TV was free TV, is because of the ads. You know, they
Yeah.
made the revenue from the ads that they were doing, and now they, people are doing the subscription base. But it's kind of like the Netflix thing. It started out as DVDs, and
Yes.
then remember the DVDs were just like, like $4 or $5 or whatever it was,
Mhm.
and then more you take
You
out, the
filled
more.
out a list of, like, all the movies that you wanted to see. It didn't matter what order you wanted to see them. They came when they came,
Yeah,
and you get, like, 3 or 5 a week or something, and
depending
you
on how
put it
much you
back in the
paid for.
mail.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it started to creep up $1 more, $1 more, and then
Mhm.
they went to subscription, then they went to, streaming, and then the streaming service was like, "Or do it streaming, you don't have to worry about it for $5 a month," and then it kept going up
Right.
and up and up, and now what is it, like $20 a month for Netflix,
Yes. It's
you know?
$20 a month.
Yeah,
No, it's almost 24. Yeah. And now with Netflix too, I believe it's you can pay more to have people who live outside of your IP address to um
to use
be
that
part
streaming
of your
service.
subscription. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then you have to also pay for 4K. I haven't had Netflix.
Right.
I got rid of Netflix, but
What the
right
fuck
before
is
I
4K?
I believe, to be honest with you, I think what they do is they take, the movies and they slow it down. I believe they slow it down and go, "Okay, here you go. We'll do it for an extra $5. It'll be 4K," but really 4K is like what it should have been, what it was before, what 1080p was, and now it's 4K,
Right.
but what they did is they took 1080p and made it 720p and just kept on just like, throttling it back, and so
Right.
now it's just like, "Oh, you wanna see
It
it with."
couldn't get any clearer.
I
Like, they would have been in your living room for fuck's sake.
know.
Like
I know, it's like I don't need to see the hair on the fucking on the grass on the ground of a movie move. I don't wanna know that they fucking
Yeah.
had Chinese food the night before on set, like, I don't care.
Someone
But
forgot to pluck a chin hair, like, I don't wanna know.
yeah, Jennifer Lopez is gorgeous. Oh my god, 4K, what happened to Jennifer Lopez? She's getting old.
Well, what I noticed, though, is, like, as it kept getting higher and higher, like, this is why I stopped smoking weed was because, like, I could see that in, what was it? In Family Guy, like, they didn't color inside the lines all the way, and, like, that's the same feeling that I had as it's got better and better, is, like, you could see the person swoosh, like, they were a blur and, like, back and forth, so that's what you're saying, like, it went back from, like, 720 to, like,
Yeah,
1080, like, yeah, I could see that
yeah, it
100%.
it's weird because, like, I was watching a football game, and I remember when they were trying to, like, when they were talking about, like, they were talking the difference between 1080 or 720 and 1080, and they were showing you the football when they were, throwing the football, like, between 780 or 720, you would see the football kinda, like, stream a little, and then they're like,
Mhm.
1080, and you just saw the football flying, like, I'm like, "I never when we had the bulb, I never
Yeah,
noticed that at all." Like, I don't
yeah,
you're telling me the more advanced in technology we get, the shittier it kinda gets.
yeah, it's like, at what point is there no more progress?
Yeah.
And especially in this, like I said, what the next thing is you're gonna be able to smell and taste the atmosphere and like on the screen? Like, what's going on?
Well, that's the problem, and the same thing with video games is like there's really no difference between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. There
Yeah,
really is no difference. If you kinda, like, look at it completely, like, there's no difference, and that's the way they're getting with TVs. It's like, how much more do I wanna be like, see? Like, I see everything, there's no reason for it to be it's pretty crystal clear, but it's
yeah.
like, I mean, the next thing is virtual reality, where you're
And you
basically immersed into the game or the
Ready
movie.
Player One.
Yeah. So, it's like.
So the craziest thing about Oculus, like this was even a few years ago. I think it was like the first one that came out. Is that when you put it on and you, like, wanna watch a movie or whatever in it, it was like you're sitting in a theater or you're, like, sitting in a cabin. I was just like, "I could just sit on my own couch, like, and watch it." It was weird. It's crazy.
But I liked it. I liked it in the same vein as that, like, yeah, I'm just sitting here and it looks like I'm watching an IMAX theater. And I was like, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. And then they started to put a living room in it. And then like
Yeah.
now it's like with Netflix, you can watch it in a virtual living room. And it's like, uh, I get what you're the gimmicky thing, but also this is a fucking 10-pound thing on my head, and it's not
Yeah.
cool to just sit there like 2 people just laying in bed on Oculus is like, "Yeah, this is cool, right? This is cool." Like, no, just get a nice television
Yeah.
and like they're trying to take the personal aspect of going on a date or actually watching movies as a family and trying to like pull it apart. And
Yeah.
it's kind of shitty. It's kind of
Well,
shitty.
I always think of like Ready Player One. I watched that movie. I know it's a book. Okay. I know it's a book, but I watched the movie. I didn't read the book. And it creeped me out. It creeped me out a lot because, you know, when you're in like the virtual reality stuff, like if you I could just imagine if you are a person who lives alone and are alone, how immersed you could be in it and how quickly you could lose track of time because of it's just all encompassing, like the sound, like the effects, everywhere you look, you know,
Yeah.
it's like you're in it.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And you can change you're not who you are in like these people on on these apps like Instagram and all that these influence they're not who they are. They go and they put on a persona and they show you like this is how what life is and then you get rid of it and then they're just sitting in some fucking in in an alley by themselves. You know what I mean? Like it's just a
Drinking a
persona.
Slurpee, like
Yeah.
my life sucks.
So it's like they're this big giant monstrous thing online and then all of a sudden they go and they're just like this person who's just a lonely person sitting in a room by themselves,
Yeah.
and it gives them this kind of like, I guess, confidence or whatever it is online to be this, and then you get catfished, and it's kind of it's getting stupid. To be honest with you, it's getting to the point where it's just very stupid and it just and we'll get into some of the things that the internet is just ruining people.
Yeah.
Hi, Lydia. The internet is ruining people, and it really is. Yes, you are. I can only imagine, um, how you are. Um, but let me, I have this is, uh this is the piece from the news.
But this is a really important story. Thank you for Spectrum for picking it up. Take a listen. I think it's something that everybody needs to hear.
TV editor Wilfredo Hernandez and his partner, art director and production designer Rick Rifle, are packing for a move out of state. It's not necessarily one they wanted to make, but they say the current state of Hollywood has given them a hard choice.
We were waiting for stuff to come roaring back when the strike was over, and it kind of trickled back. Things are definitely down, and people are starting to panic a lot. They're wondering why.
And across the industry, the sentiment is the same.
I haven't worked since spring of last year.
So much so that when producer and writer Patrick Caligiuri, who has worked on shows like Big Brother, posted a story describing the hardship, he was met with an overwhelming response.
It's not just a few people out of work. It's not even myself not working in the industry. It's thousands of people that are not working in the industry. And I felt like this was a story that needed to be made into the mainstream.
The American entertainment industry is dying.
And he says it's affecting all sorts of industry folks.
They are directors. They're my mentors. They're the people that got me my first, break in the industry. And
Do
these are
fucking
people that
better.
are telling me I have to put my house on the market because I have I can't pay my mortgage.
How many
at the end of the
fucking
month.
remakes do we
Hollywood's
have to
workforce
get?
heating
Like,
up.
Yeah.
Come up with something better.
And how many times do we have to watch like the best thing is the Transformers movies. They're great movies, but how many times am I going to watch the same robots explode at time and time again? And it's just the same thing. It's like run, gun, shoot, run, gun, shoot, run, gun, shoot. It's like, okay. And then big giant,
Yeah.
like they're up to like 9 of them. And it's just like, oh, all right. Like the first one was fucking awesome. The first 2 were cool as
Mhm.
shit. And then you get into it like, and then the Avengers too, like, okay, like we get it. Like everybody
Oh,
came
yeah.
together and it's cool. Like the only one that I'm really excited for is Deadpool because Ryan Reynolds makes
Mhm.
everything fucking. Listen, maybe I'm biased because I love Ryan Reynolds, but he makes it at least funny and like he makes fun of
Yeah.
it, and it's different, you know. But
I mean, there's just been like just shitty stuff coming out. Like I know what was it? Emma Stone won an Academy Award or whatever for a movie or something. And I looked at the trailer and I was like, "Oh." So she actually went full retard on this movie. So I
yeah,
was like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay." As
yeah.
they say, yeah, in Tropic
You never go
Thunder.
full
You
retard.
never Yeah. And I
But
was like, "Okay." And I don't know. It just
and
yeah, just like with
Lydia Mc
all the different yeah, Ghostbusters.
I mean, but that last Ghostbusters, I didn't see the Frozen one that they just had, Let It Go. But the one before that, the one with the kids and everything like that, I thought it was great. I thought the way
That's
they
what I've
brought
heard. I didn't see it, but
it
the
was
one with,
great.
like, all the ladies,
Yeah,
that was
wasn't
bad.
yeah, that was bad.
Well, and it's just like, what was it? Ocean's 8 when they had, like, Sandra Bullock and all that too, and I was
Yeah.
like, "For
But
God's
even
sakes,
but even the
make
Ocean's
it make
movies,
something different." Like, if you're gonna do an ocean, like, esque type movie, like, don't make it Ocean's 8, like, do something different.
yeah, Willy Wonka needs to stop.
Yes. By the
Johnny
way, my son, my 8-year-old and I watched the new Wonka movie,
Mhm.
the other day. It made him so emotional. He was so mad that all the
Really?
chocolate makers were, like, really mean to Willie, and he was like, "I'm gonna find the police, and they're gonna go to jail because they're so mean to him. Why can't they just let him make his chocolate?"
Because he was trying to kill people, that's why.
Yeah. Well, and then it had, like, some sad thing about his mom, and then he came over, he looked at me, he's like, "I love you," and he, like, laid on me. I was like, "Oh."
Oh,
And then I
buddy.
cried and then I cried because,
Because
"No,
why not?
my
Because
child."
why not?
Yeah,
But yeah,
because
it's
chocolate.
and Lydia makes another point. Yeah, Spider-Man. There's like so
Yes.
many like, but I mean, the difference with Spider-Man is at least Spider-Man's fighting different people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it's kind of going with the comics, and Venom I think is the
Right.
same way. Like there's a kind of a story arc with it progresses with the story. But like I said,
Mhm.
with Transformers, like how many times it's the same
Yeah.
animals and whatnot.
Well,
But
it's like even with Batman, they went full
Batman,
emo.
yeah.
This
Oh
last
my,
one, I couldn't watch it. It was
I
emo Batman. I was
I
like, "I
didn't like it.
can't.
I
I'm not
didn't like
listening
it.
to 30 Seconds to Mars while I'm watching you. Like, I can't do it."
I love 30 Seconds to Mars. I went to a 30 Seconds to Mars concert like years ago, and I was so hammered.
You're
Hi,
not
buddy.
funny. I
I don't know what he's trying to say. But yeah, no, the Batman thing was horrible. Like it to me, like Batman ended like with Mr. Freeze. I mean, not really. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because there was the Christian Bale's one were pretty good. The Dark Knight Rises
Yes.
was really good. The Bane one was pretty good. Dark Knight Rises with Heath Ledger is probably one of the best Batmans out there.
Yeah.
Is one of the best Batmans, and to be honest with you, if he didn't pass away, maybe it wouldn't have been so great. But knowing that that was probably his last great performance, kind of boosts.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's they really haven't come up. Like, I'm excited to see this new Beetlejuice, and I'm hoping they don't fuck it up. I'm really hoping they don't fuck it up because it's been years since the first one came out. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I mean, what is it? I think Jenna Ortega's in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. They better not because this is one of these. I think people will will burn Hollywood to the ground if they
Oh,
fuck this
man.
up.
Yeah.
Michael
I
Keaton is
mean,
out. Go ahead, sorry.
I know Catherine O'Hara's in it and Michael Keaton. I mean, Michael Keaton looks good for his age.
Yeah. I mean, did you see in the
Lydia, I will throw hands. Yeah.
Which I mean, because Beetlejuice transcends a lot of generations. You know, like
Yeah.
when we were growing up, they had the Beetlejuice cartoon, which was great. Like, still, you can put Beetlejuice on right now, and it's timeless. You know, so if you fuck this up, you're gonna have a lot of people who are really pissed about this, and
Well, that's what I think is very odd. Like, I know, of course, there has been remakes of like different things. Like, I know A Star is Born has been remade like 3 or 4 times, but like, if they start doing like, I don't know, it feels like there's more and more and more, and it's just too many trying to get like the nostalgia, like money from it. Like even if you think about TV shows too, like they try to reboot, they're doing all these reboots of shows. And then you think of podcasts. I think there's one podcast company that's getting all these old like Disney and Nickelodeon shows to like have their own podcast. Like Boy Meets
yeah,
World, they have a
yep.
podcast. Ned's Declassified has a podcast. Even Stevens has a podcast. Like Brotherly Love,
The
that one's
Sopranos has their
actually
own.
really good.
Brotherly Loves is really good because
The
fucking what not Matthew, not Joey. What's the other one?
Andrew?
What's the middle one?
No, Matthew. Matt.
Matthew goes hard on fucking Hollywood. Matthew
Oh
just don't
yeah.
give a fuck. Matthew's just like, yeah. And then I was approached to do this with some guy who I won't say because and it's just like they have divided the cast so that there's hope, but I will throw my expensive China if I had China. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are gonna be pissed if that's fucked up. But yeah, that Brotherly Love and I
That's
think
actually a good one.
and here's the thing is people are just sick and tired of being scolded. And I think and I'm
Hmm.
hoping and I think this is why the eclipse is coming to reboot everything. Yeah, they have a podcast and
They
I
do. It's called was it Brotherly
Brotherly
Love
Love,
Prod?
yeah,
Yeah.
podcast and it's
The
on
pod, the pod.
it's actually they have a TikTok account
Hmm.
which I follow and it's pretty good. But like, yeah, all these people are having podcasts out there, and like we have a podcast too, but we try to be fucking different. Like all these people are kind of the same, mundane drivel and stuff like that. And we try to be different a little bit. And
Oh, do you want to know one that's like it's insufferable? Is the One Tree Hill podcast. It kills me to say it. It kills me.
they have a podcast for One
Yes,
Tree Hill.
yes, they had a One Tree Hill. It was like a rewatch podcast or whatever.
Well, The Sopranos is doing the same thing, but I think I think The Sopranos is different because I listened to it a little bit, and it's kind of cool to get the backstories on some of the episodes, like the Pine Barrens episode and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And and a lot of the stuff that's going on, like Drea Di Matteo starting an OnlyFans, and Tim Pool calling her a hooker, and then she got mad at it, and it was just like, but yeah, I mean the Sopranos one, I kind of dig every once in a while. But once again, it's all those Hollywood elite just talking about Hollywood elite, and
Yeah.
and and I think people are just sick and tired of hearing people who have money talk about having money,
I
because
don't I don't know if it's that or just like those people trying to tell us how to live our lives
yeah,
and you've got no idea what I'm like
yeah,
just because you play Joe Schmo doesn't mean you know how Joe Schmo lives right now.
no,
I
these
think that's what it's like this it's the self-righteousness and all that like I know better than you, like you should listen to me
well
type
that's
thing.
and I mean if you want to hear our political talk is on Wednesdays, a Business Party podcast. But and
Yes.
that's what we talk about. We talk about these fucking idiots that aren't in touch with reality. They don't care about you. They don't care about what they do with your money. We're a never-ending ATM machine to our government, and they will do as they please, and we will shut up and we'll take it and we will like it, and then they kind of and they put it into the TV too. They sit there and as they're going from marriage to marriage and child to child, because I don't know if you've seen what's going on with Dame Dash and Jay-Z. Oh boy.
No.
Oh boy.
Whoa,
Dame
what?
Dame Dash is going off on Jay-Z because Jay-Z um so Dame Dash was in love with Aaliyah, right? And Dame Dash
Oh,
and Aaliyah were kind of together, and
right.
I don't know the ages, but like
No,
it
she
was
was young.
questionable. Yeah, it was
Very young.
questionable.
Very, very
And
young.
they were having a kind of a relationship, and then, you know, R. Kelly stepped in, and R. Kelly was doing some shady shit with Aaliyah, and Jay-Z knew about it. And Jay-Z went on tour and made a record with R. Kelly and threw Dame Dash out of Rockefeller and started his own thing. So Dame Dash is fucking pissed now. Like he's just like fuck Jay-Z and all this stuff. And yeah. So I mean the all the cards in Hollywood are falling down,
It's
and
it's yeah, it's weird.
all these motherfuckers knew. And that's the problem I have. It's the problem I have is all these fucking people knew this stuff was going on and didn't say a word.
No.
And they're just as culpable. They're just as
Yep.
culpable as the people. Because, like, come on, remember the Me Too movement with all, it started great with these women who, like, okay, yeah, they started the movement, they wanted to speak out, and then it got hijacked, and then
Yeah.
they started, turning around and doing some shady, stupid shit. And
And
then
saying
everybody's,
regret is is
yeah. And it's
is
like,
rape. And you're like,
and then,
"Wait, what?" When it
and then
got to that point, I was like, Time me out. I'm out."
and then all these people who were had been praising Harvey Weinstein for
Mhm.
all these years, all of a sudden started coming out on him like, you knew he was doing this shit.
You know what's really okay? So I want to say this about the whole Harvey Weinstein thing that I think is kind of crazy. So he was really close even with Jennifer Lawrence when he went to jail. Like I noticed that the amount of movies that Jennifer Lawrence was in like went from like she was in everything to like nothing, and now she's in this predatory movie on Netflix or whatever. I
Is
don't
she
know. It's
really?
really gross. It's like one where she's like in her 30s and she's like has to hang out with an 18-year-old, like the parents pay her to hang out with this 18-year-old kid before he goes off to college or whatever. It's disgusting. I actually watched it because I was just like, I'm curious. And I was like, I need something to bitch about. So I did watch it though. And it was awful. I was like, this is gross.
Well, did you see there's a teacher that was posing as a teenage student to lure 12 to 15-year-olds to have sex with her?
No.
Yeah, she was
Where?
like
What?
23 years old. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it as it was a news clip on a TikTok, and I was like, "What?" But like,
Okay,
what?
another was it Mary Kay Letourneau?
Yeah, like what the fuck like? Is it that we have got the internet now and we're seeing a lot more of it, or is it just people are just can't can fucking control themselves?
I think it's a combination of the 2.
Like you see your like when we grew up, we didn't see our fucking teachers out of school. I thought my teacher plugged herself in at the end of the fucking day in a closet at school, and then when
She
school
should
ended,
stay
like,
there, yeah.
yeah, I had no idea. I didn't think the teachers were real life people. And then now, like all of a sudden, you can just go on Facebook, Instagram, you follow your teacher, TikTok, and watch your teacher's tits bouncing all over the place. Her snatch is hanging out, doing fucking TikTok dances, and then all of a sudden, next day you got to go to school, and you're just like, "Hi, Mrs. Jacobs, how are you? I saw
Who
your
was
titties."
your teacher?
No, I'm talking about now. No, back in the
Yeah.
day, like back in the day, my teacher was these fucking old curmudgeons. We had one hot teacher, and it was like, and then there was one teacher that was that they were saying that was banging students, and it was just going around that she was banging students. But that's all we had, like the rumor. And now it's just like
Yeah.
now you have these like I said, you have these kids checking out these teachers' Instagrams and everything like that, seeing them shaking their fucking asses on Instagram on the beach and stuff, and then you're gonna come to school like the next week after fucking spring break and just be like, "Hey, Mrs. Jacobs, I saw you were in Miami, looking pretty nice there, madam." Like, what the fuck?
That's why you gotta put it on private, man.
Yeah, people got wacky ideas and are acting upon it, and it's just it's insane, man. We've gone to a place where it's crazy. And let me see if I can Which one
Well,
comes up?
yeah. I mean, I think there was always people that did stuff like this. I think, but it just now it's just like I guess accepted more.
I
No
don't.
kink. You're not allowed to kink shame anymore.
Which is like, listen, I say that like don't kink shame people, but that's not a kink. That's pedophilia. Pedophilia is not a kink.
Oh, have you seen that TED Talk with that woman talking about
Oh my God, yeah.
The minor attracted people?
I say, listen, I think these earthquakes and everything are God's way of just being pissed off at all of us. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna shake some shit up, and we might have to start
Dude.
over again because this is just it's getting crazy,
Yeah,
man.
by the way, so real quick, I had no idea that this was a thing that like apparent that eclipses like make earthquakes happen. Like that's what the news is trying to say. Oh, it's because of the eclipse that the earthquakes have happened.
I thought it was
And I'm
fat
like,
wrestlers that made earthquakes happen.
well, I saw when it was Chris Christie and Lizzo in New York at the same time dancing.
That's
That's
why
why
it
it happened. But okay, this is a little off topic because I actually really am curious though. I did see a TikTok about how the eclipse it'll go up from Mexico through Texas and like across the United States that way. And the guy was saying, but doesn't the sun like
Go from
go
east to west.
from east to west? And like wouldn't the moon go from east to west too? I don't know. I feel like I'm being stupid right now, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't,
I'm trying to see if they have that because they had it. It's been all over the place, and now all of a sudden, like you can't find it. They had all the what it's supposed to do. Okay, here it goes. Like so, this is what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to come from down here through Mexico, through Texas, Oklahoma. I guess what's that?
but is that the sun or is that the moon? That doesn't make sense to me.
I think that's the moon. I'm thinking that's the sun and that's the moon is supposed to be just going that way.
But why is the moon still? It doesn't make sense.
I don't. The Earth is flat.
All right.
Okay, that's what happened. The Earth is flat, and we've all been lied to for so many years, and we're just fucked. All right, we have no idea what's going on.
That's why we're called the West Coast, and everything else is East. You know,
like I don't understand. I don't understand. And once again, like I honestly think at this point, I think they're doing it like a severe thunderstorm, like or like a hurricane. You know when or a snowstorm when they tell you to go out and buy milk and bread and everything. Now they're just like, it's going to be an eclipse. I think you need to go out and buy bread and milk. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, 2024, like the election, Joe Biden saved the economy. It was bad. And then you watch everything just go up from April. Every time something bad happens, they're just like, listen, the sun's coming up. It's going to be 97 degrees. You might want to buy shit. Wait, why? It's gonna be tremendously hot. Like we've done this before. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's so weird. So like, I know where we're at. They're saying, and a lot of other places, like the path of the eclipse, they're like, oh well, a lot of people might not be able to see it because there's gonna be thunderstorms, yada yada yada. I was like, so is that why people needed to get like provisions because of the thunderstorms? I don't know.
I also saw
it's odd. It's very odd. The whole thing's just weird.
I also saw that that like whatchamacallit, it's gonna be blocked by clouds now. Now they're saying it's gonna be cloudy, so you're not gonna be able to really see it. And
what are they hiding? I saw the chemtrails out there this morning across the sun to make it cloudy.
Here it is.
What are they hiding?
Here is apparently what it's about. The path of totality. This is what it's supposed to go through. Texas, Arkansas, a little bit of some Kentucky, some Missouri, some Illinois, some Indiana, some Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, Maine, New Brunswick, and then out. But they're talking about it like it's a doomsday clock. Like
Yeah.
they're,
People
they're,
are
to-
freaking out, man.
they're talking about, I forget, in a couple of the counties, they're having like the National Guard come in. I was on a live today with somebody who was talking. They kept on seeing National Guardsmen coming to the town, and people are flocking to these towns where this thing is going to be to watch it. And it's just like
Oh God, it's gonna be fucking Independence Day.
They're
There's gonna
canceling
be a UFO that comes over, and they're like, "We're be friends," and then they go, "Shh," and everyone gets zapped.
Listen, it's fine with me. It's fine with me as long as I know I kind of, I kind of want to be home for it, but I'll probably be at work by the time it gets here or whatnot. But like, I don't. It's just fear mongering, and if it's not fear mongering, they've got us to the point where everything they say nobody believes anymore. How many times, especially us, we lived on the east. Well, you still live on the East Coast, kind of, and we've lived on the East Coast in the Northeast. How many times have they been like, "Oh, it's going to be 12 inches tomorrow. Get your milk and bread and go buy all this stuff," and then next thing you know, it's like you wake up in the morning. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And then there was a snowstorm a couple years ago where they're like, "Oh, it's not going to be anything." All of a sudden, it was fucking a foot and a half within like 3 hours. It took one of my guys from my job. It took him almost 12 hours to get home. He literally got home,
Oh yeah,
turned around, and came back to work.
You remember what happened in Virginia?
No.
Like a few years ago, it was like such a bad snowstorm. Like people abandoned their vehicles on the highway, and like some people were like stuck on the highway for like 12, 14, 24 hours. That was crazy.
Yeah. And these people keep their jobs. These meteorologists are just like, "I went to school for all this." And you can't tell me if it's really going to snow or not. Like, at least go like, "Hey, it may," the way we're looking at it, it may snow tomorrow, it may not. But, it is what
weird that anytime something like that happens, the first thing comes to my mind is like, what happens if they have to go to the bathroom? Like, what do you do?
Who?
Is there like the people that are stuck? Like, if you're stuck there, like, what do you? When it happened, I was pregnant at the time, so I had to pee every 5 minutes. So of course, my first thought was like, what if someone had to go to the bathroom? Like, what do?
You
Do
just
you all
go.
like get together and be like, listen, let's just have, listen, someone put up a jacket over there. That'll be the number 2 spot.
Listen,
Like
it's amnesty. It's one of those amnesty things, like vacation money. It's just it's vacation money. It's not real money. It's like it's vacation, or it's snowstorm pee and poop. It doesn't matter. Listen, you didn't really see that. That wasn't really me. But yeah, I don't know.
I wonder about
wild.
the weirdest shit.
I know, but it is something that you need to think about. Like, you're stuck in traffic for 3 to 4 hours, especially when you were pregnant. Like, it's a real thing. Like, you have to pee and just I don't know. I think it's one of those things, and I'm hoping I'm not wrong, I guess, about that they're just doing it for fear mongering. I'm hoping I'm right, that they're just doing it to fear monger, and nothing really happens, because this thing came out of left field like a couple months ago, and they were like, yeah, all of a sudden, like, make sure you have rations of foods for weeks, 36 hours, just in case. And I'm like, why? They're calling National Guards here, and it's like, what?
I wonder if it has anything to do with it just like it getting dark and like not knowing if there's going to be any type of crime or something in the middle of the day, because it will be dark for
3 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, a lot can happen in 3 minutes.
But then again, like a lot of science is like the sun produces a bunch of energy, and between the sun and the moon closing off that energy between Earth for that long, like it could affect it. Like, I don't know. Like I said, it sucks, the fact that we have to question what the people on the television tell us, and it sucks that we can't trust them to tell us the truth, because they lie to us all the time. And it's not just like they lie. They ruin people's lives
Mm-hmm.
and then they just move on, like, and nobody cares.
Oh yeah. Well, we were talking about the COVID stuff
Yeah.
last on Wednesday. I want to do so you know that Lancet paper that I sent you guys. Did
Yeah.
you read it?
No.
Okay, you should.
Okay.
Cuz I want to read that aloud on a stream and then talk about like the WHO stuff and like how like the WHO and other countries are trying to like get onto one medical treaty for any future pandemics because it's some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I was reading, I was disturbed. I was extremely disturbed.
there's a lot of shit. Like, I saw a TikTok today that somebody was just like, the United States doesn't care about people because they don't want to feed people around the world. And then it was I saw a chart about the World Food Bank, and we
Mhm.
contribute like $6 billion to the World Food Bank, and like the closest is like a couple hundred million is another country. It's like we can't even feed ourselves. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, like I truly hate saying this, but fuck everybody else. And I've said this for a long time, especially on our
Yeah.
shows. Like, I'm sorry, if you can't feed your own people and you're taking money out of your own people's pocket to feed everybody else, you have to always, like, when you're going down on a plane or somebody's going down on you, you say thank you. But anyway, when you're going down on a plane, what do they tell you to do? They tell you to help yourself first and then help the
And
person
then
next to you.
right.
So if we can't even help ourselves and we're just sitting there helping everybody else, like, we're gonna flounder and we're not gonna be able to do anything. And it's by design, man. I mean, it's by design, and they're trying to tear us apart slowly. And it's a shitty thing. Like I don't know if I sent you I sent this thing in the Telegram about this 4B movement
Oh yeah.
that's going on in South Korea.
Mhm.
And it's just like, so I don't know the whole thing. Okay. I'm just going to be completely blatantly honest with you. Like, I don't know the whole thing, what it's about. I've seen a little bit here, a little bit there. This is a little bit of an explanation of what they're saying. Why, dude? This is this they're trying to they're gonna explain it to you in 20 seconds about this 4B movement. 4B is short for no marriage, no dating, no childbirth, no heterosexual relationships in South Korea. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just when I saw it, I was flabbergasted.
Wait, I don't under
Let's
Hold on. Is this trying to it's not trying to get like any type of legislation or anything, right?
No, this is in South Korea. This isn't here. Well,
No, I know.
No,
But
this
what I'm
is
saying, any like legislation over there, but it's just a movement.
it's just a movement, and it's not a big movement in Korea, in South Korea, from what I hear. Like I said, I caught a little bit of this stuff, and then I had to go out and buy food to make dinner that I ruined.
So is it like a he woman man haters club?
Let me finish this. It kind of explains a little more.
Okay.
The movement started because women in South Korea felt mistreated by men. Women believe by saying no, they will have more control over their lives and be treated equally. The 4B movement is giving women in South Korea a way to stand up for themselves. Oh, here we go. This is what we were talking about.
Is she in kindergarten class? Like, what the fuck?
You see what I mean? See what we were talking about? Where now all of a sudden, Miss Lane is shaking her ass on the internet And now the kids go and see Miss Lane's at the next day at school, and what are they supposed to do? It was perfect timing.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Oh, I have an article about it if you want me to go
what,
through
the
it.
4B movement?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. It's compared to the women's movement in. Oh, I'm frozen.
Oh. Oh shit. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. You are frozen. You're still freezing. Okay. Well,
Okay. Wow. Okay. It's compared to the women's movement the US had in the 1970s and 80s, more or less burn your bras, my Asian sisters. But yeah, like, okay, go ahead, pull up the article. I want to see.
okay.
Well, you have to share it.
So can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says a world without men, the women of South Korea's 4B movement are fighting the patriarchy. They're leaving it behind entirely. Okay. So it talks about a woman who escaped her husband's abuse, leaving her and her sister behind with their paternal grandmother. She was 5 and her 8-year-old sister started losing her hair from the stress. She grew older. Young me found herself depressed. Okay, hold on. I just want to know what this is. So so in 2018, Young Me came across footage of protests taking place in the streets of Seoul in South Korea where cases of femicide, revenge porn, and dating violence are widespread. A surge in spy cam sex crimes. What is
Yeah.
going on? Overwhelmingly committed by men, had mostly resulted in fines and suspended jail sentences if they were persecuted at all. That was not the case, however, for one 25-year-old woman who had taken a non-consensual photo of a nude male model at art school and posted it online. She was sentenced to 10 months in prison and court ordered sexual violence counseling.
Jesus.
Okay. Yeah, that's fucked up.
But once
Okay.
again, we in this country are so spoiled, right? If you look what goes on in those countries, women are looked at as lesser than, like
Yeah.
far lesser than here. Like basically, it's you shut up, you do what the husband tells you. They have actual women. I don't know if it's women or men. They go to actual marriage brokers, and they find people to have them married off in those
Uh-huh.
countries. So like there's it's a lot different from here than
Yeah.
what we have going on here, you know? So, and that's a different culture. Like everybody thinks everybody's culture is exactly the same, and it's not. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to be compared to this. Everybody wants to take pieces of like, oh, this place has socialized healthcare, and look how good it works here, or look how good it works here. It's like we have one of the biggest populations of a first world country. And if you think about it, we're probably the most taxed out of all the countries. Like you have like countries like Canada who have like a 70% income tax rate. But if you like, we have an income tax, we have state tax, we have, grocery tax. Like we're taxed on everything. So if you actually think of it, we're probably somewhere around the 70-80% tax for every dollar we spend. Like literally, you get taxed after you work. Then you go to the store and buy something, you're taxed there. And then if you buy something and you sell it, they want to tax you on that too. So like we're always taxed. Like and especially here in Missouri, you have to pay for your car's registration, you have to pay a tax on it. So whatever your car is
Yeah.
valued for Kelly Blue Book, you have to pay the tax on it every year to register your car.
Which is
So
it's silly.
yeah, we're
Wait,
taxed.
hon, what does that have to do with the 4B movement?
So I'm just
Where are
saying,
you going with this?
I'm just saying, like
I
we're
got confused for a second.
well, because I'm just trying to say how like we're different. Like everybody wants to compare everybody takes little bits and pieces from every country, like and they don't look at the whole picture like the micro macro. So North South Korea is a different beast than
Right.
what we are, so and they're trying to bring it here, and you have women trying to bring it here.
Oh, the 4B movement?
Yeah,
They
they're
wanna
trying to
bring it
bring
here?
Yep. Let me see if this is the
Oh.
one. Okay. So I showed Amanda this. Amanda freaked out, like, because this girl starts like beautifully. Like she makes
Oh,
great
I know.
points. She makes
Yes,
great
and
points, and then
then
all of a sudden you watch it just go. Phew.
like, you shoulda just stopped while you're ahead, girl. This is the one I did watch.
So the misogyny and patriarchy has gotten so bad in South Korea that
white women need to chill the fuck out. Okay, I'm Korean American, so I wanted to not say anything about this, but I gotta say something. And nothing to this creator, I just stitched her. So I noticed a lot of, in my feed, I've been getting a lot of white women saying, oh, 4B movement in Korea, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, the 4B movement in Korea is nothing like the white feminism and the feminist movement in America. The cultural and the social systems and the family, how the families are run in Korea is nothing like how the families and the social structure is in America. White women have the most power, privilege, and freedoms of any women on this planet. And if you look at any relationships, as long as it's not an abusive relationship, that's a whole nother deal. But any normal relationships, if you look at it in America, women have the power. I would say white women have more power than the average white man in America. And when I see the white women trying to jump on this 4B movement, it's just like they're just trying to use women of color, like they've done historically. Historically, white women have always used women of color to get their agenda through and to get ahead, and then leave us behind. I've noticed the white women, the culture of white women in America tend to bash white men. That's because they want to be white men. They want the power, they want the money, they want the status. As a woman of color, the biggest problem in this country, in America, is white supremacy, white feminism in America. So when I see white women doing this, it's always
Wait, where is it?
problem on this. And white supremacy is the biggest problem on this planet.
White supremacy is the biggest problem on this planet.
On the planet. On the planet.
The entire planet is
The
white supremacy.
entire planet.
Madam, you had me. You had me in the beginning. The cultural differences, yes. Yes. There's a lot of cultural differences between America and South Korea. And then she was going up on that fucking roller coaster, and now she just hit the top and just went speeding down.
Well, if she said white liberal women, I'd be like, absolutely. Good.
Right.
So when I see white women doing this, it's always self-serving. They just want to serve themselves and get themselves ahead, when really the problem was them. Problem was them not dealing with the white supremacist system, buying into it, upholding it, and putting us all in this situation. So stop using women of color and movements that is nothing to do with white feminism to get yourselves ahead, because at the end of the day, you leave us behind every time. White women uphold capitalism, and you uphold white.
She's a socialist. Stop it.
This
Pause
is
it.
all about.
She's a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
The second that you hear anyone being like the evil capitalist white blah, all the socialists and stuff nowadays are like intertwining white privilege, capitalism, bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
All of it. If you just like think about that, that's why you get, Larry Elder that could be a black white supremacist and shit like that. If you believe in capitalism, you're a white supremacist nowadays.
Yeah. It
doesn't matter what color you are. If you like capitalism, You're a white supremacist.
Women of color got farther in history than white women. Don't start with me. You can't. God, I hate people like that. Yeah, she was. Amanda was saying because Amanda knows a lot of a little bit about a lot, and she was saying black women were allowed to own land before white women were in the United States, and they were allowed to vote
Mhm.
before white women in the states. So like, and once again, the whole thing is you keep dividing. Like once you start to get people who get along and try to like finally are like, hey, maybe we're on the same side that the government's bad. Now you just start getting people going like, well, maybe we'll start this 4B movement and men are the problem and then women are the problem and then you start getting people
Like from what we saw, like or heard about what's happening in South Korea, it sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
Right? If
Yeah.
like women are being taken advantage of and the men aren't going to jail, but a woman takes a picture of a naked dude in art class and she's going to prison for 10 months. That's a problem,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
but here that's not that's not I mean, is it a problem some obvious,
yeah.
but like it's not a norm.
But here's where I have the problem. The same person that says that is the same person that says someone who claims that they're trans can go into a woman's bathroom or go into
Oh,
a
like
woman's prison.
the South Carolina women's
Yeah.
basketball coach?
Yeah. Or the whatchamacallit, the girl in Virginia that was sexually assaulted in the bathroom by the
Oh,
boy
yeah.
who said he was
Mhm.
trans. Then they
Mhm.
hid it and she went to another school and did it again.
Mhm.
Like, I get it. They're few and far between, but why are we
And then the victim's dad is the one that got arrested?
yeah, but why are we
When
like
he was
why do we allow like it shouldn't be you shouldn't do this to kids. Like it's a bad thing to do this to children. Like yeah, I
No,
mean,
so
listen.
what's happened the erasure of women in women's spaces is headed by women.
Mhm.
Women not saying anything. Like I honestly I woke up this morning and the first thing I
And
see
you
is
chose
about
violence.
Dawn's I chose violence. I
You
did.
chose violence.
I didn't choose to crochet. I decided to choose violence. Dawn Stanley, who is the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball coach, had said, was it South Carolina? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
She did like a press conference talking about how it's okay for like trans women to be in like women's sports or whatever. And I was just like, why are women helping with the erasure of women's only spaces? Like, I can't. Like, I even hate the fact that girls are allowed to be in Boy Scouts. Like, the boys need to have their own space, and girls need to have their own space too. Like, because the second they mix it up, it gets all fucking weird and everyone's fake. Like,
Yeah.
and they can't, and men can't talk about their issues with other men, and women can't talk about their issues with other women. And it's like, it just fucks things up.
It's funny because I go back to the Survivor. Because it was and I called it. Remember I called it
Okay.
before that episode when the girls went and the girls won the challenge and they went up and had this beautiful dinner and everything like that. And they were like, yay, the girls won. We're going to have a retreat. We're going to go do this. And the guys were like, yeah, we lost. It sucks. But yeah, we'll just, and then the guys were having this great time. They were fishing and, farting and talking about like all this stuff. And the one guy's just like, I've never been with the boys before. And this is fun. Being with the boys is fun. It's kind of cool. And they were all having a great time.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
wrestling, farting, burping.
and then what happened the following week?
Oh, the girls, the boys won.
The boys won, and the boys went and had a dinner, which wasn't as good as the girls' dinner. Let's get that straight. The girls had a nice Thanksgiving dinner. The guys had some barbecue, and they did and they had fun. And then the girls were sitting in the lake like, wonder what the boys are doing. Boys must be having a good time. Now, what do we talk
Well,
about?
I mean, because
Did
they're fundamentally different.
I know?
Okay,
I know.
it is like it is.
And
But
it
yes, Amanda's right. That's why there's a boys and a girls club.
yeah, and especially when you're going through that transition from a boy to a man, when you're hitting puberty, you do not want boys around. Like, it's the most vulnerable time for a man. He stinks.
Especially if you're in a situation where it's like a group thing of like a something like a Boy Scouts or something
Yeah.
like that. Like and it's geared towards learning something to help, you know, it's bad word, but to rear the boys into men. It's
Are we talking
bad.
about P. Diddy again?
Oh my god. You weren't there. You weren't there when Biz and I were talking about passing on knowledge,
No.
cuz I had mentioned that, like, isn't it crazy back in the olden days, like back in with like the philosophers and stuff, and you like ancient Rome and Greece and stuff like that, how these older like men said how they would pass on knowledge to the younger ones is to have the sex with them. The younger boys to pass on knowledge. That's what they did. That's what they
Cool.
thought they were doing. So now it's called passing on knowledge.
No wonder it's
When
called rearing. What the fuck?
yeah, that's it all got my head. All right. My brain went into like 50,000 different spider webs just to like get to that point. But
Holy
anyway, but
I
yeah, like when boys and like especially like what you're talking about, when there's boys in like at a certain age and they're all together and therefore like a certain goal, whether to be, you know, to do a project or to just like learn something like a life skill or something that is normally geared towards boys, it's good to have them in that group together without a distraction of a girl or something like that, because what happens is that their personalities change.
Yeah.
You can see it, like you can see it when you're like there's a group of guys and then a woman comes in the room, or there's a group of women and then a guy comes in. The whole vibe changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially at that time when, girls are developing and boys are developing and, you're sitting there and at a certain age and you just a girl walks by and just like you get that whiff of a girl and all of a sudden next thing you know your fucking pants are tight. Last thing you need to do is
You're like, where's my binder?
trying to make a fucking one of those little fucking Boy Scout scooter things, and the last thing you need is a girl to walk by and just
Love is.
and and we're different, but everybody wants to no, we're all the same. We're not the same. Biologically, we're not the fucking same.
No.
And to say that we are, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but you're absolutely wrong. We are not the same. We're totally different. Are there girls that could do boy things? Like, yeah. Is it
Absolutely.
attractive when girls do boy things sometimes? Abso-fucking-lutely. You don't think it turns me on when I watch Amanda change a tire? Abso-fucking-lutely it does. But you know what? But it's not the same. If you
Mhm.
watch a girl going fishing or a girl riding a quad, like it's for sometimes it's hot, but like you don't want to be sitting there like I don't know it's in you don't want a guy sitting there in high heels. I'm not kink shaming, but there's not a lot of girls who want to see a guy in high heels and just like that's sexy. It's like, oh, it's not. But it's I don't know, man. We live in a world and there's so much information out there and everybody just wants to be oppressed. That's all it is. And you can't say this, you can't say that. And if you do say this or you do say that, they want you fired, they want you gone. Like we were saying at the beginning, the people in Hollywood, um, they're garbage. And and they want you to think all these things, and while they're doing, they want you to think that, oh yeah, men and women are the same and everybody's the same and everything like that. And then then they'll pay an actor X amount of dollars, and they'll pay a female actress like half of that price, and it's just like,
Well, no, it's funny because I feel like it's the same group of people who are always taught you about like how cool it is to be an individual and individuality and stuff like that. Now it's all like, oh, but we're all the same.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, no, but no. What happened to embracing your individuality and what makes you different?
I mean, once
But
you
it's
do
like
that,
different. But it's like being different, the same. Like, let's be different, the same. Like, let's be different, the same, as in we all have some weird, like, neurodivergent, like, diagnoses.
by the way, did you see
Let's be
Lizzo?
different, the same, as, like, you'll be pansexual, you'll be bisexual, and then I'll be asexual or something.
Yeah,
Like, it's
you can't just
weird.
be confused. You can't be like
No.
confused anymore. It's okay to be confused. If you like girls and you're a girl, it's okay. If you're like guys and you're a guy, it's come to the point where nobody gives a fuck anymore. And here's the thing. This is what I think it is. I think that it's come to a point where nobody really gives a shit anymore about if you're a guy who likes a guy or a girl who likes a girl. So then they came up with
Mhm.
these different things. But no, I'm a pandemic wobble-headed freakazoid termite sexual. And
Well,
it's like,
that's what I'm saying. It's being different, but
yeah,
but at the same, but the same.
yeah. And
That's
no,
what it is. It's just like people just trying to find like something that makes them different. That's not that's the same. I
yeah.
don't know how else to explain it. That's
And
how it is.
and you know what? Do you, boo boo? Go ahead. If that's what you want to be, that's perfectly fine. But if I don't call you Zimzaga or Big Bugger or Boo 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 Boo, whatever you want to be called, don't fucking get mad at me. I don't fucking know. I saw a video today. Somebody got mad because somebody said that they passed for a trans girl, and they were just like, passing is the most uh uh I don't, not racist, but like ableist thing to ever say. It's like,
Isn't
bro,
that the point though?
yeah, wasn't the point you wanted to be a girl? You passed as a girl. Nobody knew you were trans. Like, congratulations. Like, cool. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't get like the guys that say that they're trans and they have long hair but also a beard. Like, no.
I don't. It's a weird, man. We're in a weird time, and I'm glad
Yeah.
I have a home to just be in and just fucking, you weirdo people. Go ahead, enjoy yourself. Like,
I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either. And I'm raising,
I feel
I'm raising
bad
this.
though because I feel like sometimes like instead of, having like a skill or a craft or finding out something that you like that's different than other people, it's like coming up with these weird things like we were talking earlier, like was it always this way or is it getting worse? Well, before I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit of both. No, actually I changed my mind. I think it's getting worse.
Yeah. Well, I'm raising a son,
Because
and I got a baby on the way, and like, I don't want these kids to get in trouble for saying the wrong thing or getting into a fight, or God forbid, gets extremely violent because
Mhm.
somebody said the wrong thing, and they're thrown out of school because they used the wrong pronoun, or getting arrested for saying the wrong thing to the wrong person, and they get arrested for it, like, because they're pushing
Yeah,
for that. They're pushing,
I
especially in
know.
Canada. They're pushing for that shit, and it's like, all right, then call everybody a fucking asshole. Okay.
Well, so I'm reading the book from Abigail Schreier called Bad Therapy: Why Our Kids Aren't Growing Up. I think that's what the rest of the title is. It's actually really good. I'm done part 1. There's 3 parts to it. And in part 1, she's talking about how she had talked to a teenager and was talking to her about her friends and everything and like what the friend dynamic is like. And she said that it's kind of strange because she's the only one in her friend group that doesn't have some type of mental diagnoses, whether it be like a learning disability or anxiety, depression type thing. And how she said finding it more and more common that it's uncommon for someone not to have any of those things.
But but the problem is what I feel is society's putting these anxieties in kids. Like,
Yeah.
these kids are getting anxious because they don't know what they are, and they're getting pressured from people to identify as something, and they have to identify as this or that, and if not, social pressure gets to them. Like like
Yeah.
this all like Gypsy Rose, it's a
Yeah.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Like her mother, ripped her fucking salivary glands out
Yeah.
so her mother could take her to Disney. And like I feel like these parents are doing this to these kids for privileges. And it's
Mhm.
like and we used to take kids away for that. And now we're rewarding parents for this. We're allowing them
Yeah.
to do this stuff. And it's like,
Or taking kids away from parents who don't want their kids to do that,
yeah,
right?
I literally had to tell Spencer today, like, get off the internet because he was just yelling out profanity. Like, he has a problem. He gets mad like from internet stuff, and I go, "Why are you getting mad at internet stuff? You know that person is not next to you, right? You can just shut the game off." Well, he's just who cares? Who
I
cares?
know.
This person is not affecting your physical being right now. Why are
It
you
gets
getting
them
so angry?
emotionally
Yeah,
though, because
yeah,
that's their world now. Because well, with a lot of kids now, it's like they spend a lot of their time in that virtual world that something happening, they can't function
mhm,
otherwise on the outside. And like something like that could make them feel like they're being physically
yeah,
harmed,
yeah,
even though that they're not.
yeah.
My
I
son
told him,
does the same thing, and I'm like, "Dude, you need to go outside. Like, I'm done. Everything's locked up. You're out. Go. Bye.
yeah, I
Go
told him
touch
get off the
grass."
yeah, get off the internet and go read a book or something because like and he's like, well, can I play a single player game? I was like, yeah, fine, but single player, that's it. Nothing with anybody else because it's getting bad where like he's just angry. Like angry about like nothing. And I keep telling him like he bangs his foot against the wall and like he's angry for the rest of the day. I'm like, for what? What are you angry about? You hit your foot against the wall. Get over it. It happens. Everybody bangs their foot against the wall. You don't need to be angry about it for the rest of the day. And a lot of the pressures that happen at school and kids pressuring people to do kids to be a certain way or do a certain thing or say a certain thing causes these kids anxiety nowadays. And these kids, and they're quick to just throw them on drugs. And
Mhm.
and they wake up with this anxiety of going to school. Like he doesn't want to go to school at all. Like he hates going to school, and because
It's
he's
not only
talented,
it's yeah.
because he's very talented and he's very smart. Like he's very, very like they had a test and he scored the best in the school. And like he scored the highest score and he didn't want to be like acknowledged like "No, shut up, stop, stop." Like if I would have get even cracked the top 100, I'd want to be fucking praised back in school. But he hit number 1 and like he doesn't want to be praised because his teacher makes him help out this other students and they look at him like he's a weirdo because he's smart. And I keep telling him, dude, you got 7 years left and then nothing and then you don't have to fucking see these people ever again. You might not even see them next year. So stop trying to
Mhm.
impress people. Worry about yourself. Worry about your future. Worry about what you're going to do because your friends, your quote unquote friends, they're not going to help you out later in life.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even just the kids pressuring kids now. It's also the teachers.
Yeah.
The teachers, the administrators pressing this. Like, so back to, even to that book that I was talking to you about, it's like, so now in a lot of schools, it's social emotional learning, right? They do a lot of um, focusing on okay, how does that make you feel? Like, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. Like, and we were taught that, like, okay, so get temperatures of how your kid's feeling, like on his emotions. And this book is telling you, like, doing that all the time isn't the best thing to do for your kid. Like, don't keep continually ask them how they're feeling, because most of the time when you ask someone how they're feeling, whether it be like most of the time it always goes to like more of a bad or negative emotion. So that's why a lot of kids are like, you could see a lot more kids getting like depressed because they're told to focus more on those negative emotions rather than just like having the negative emotion, not really dwelling on it, and then moving on.
Well, and Amanda brings up a point. He's pressured to be a leader and he doesn't want the attention. Like,
Hmm.
he just wants to be left alone. And and like you said, they force these kids to do these things and and be in these roles, and they just don't want to. A lot of kids just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is like, and what you're saying is true, because he goes to the extremes. And we had this conversation today. And like, it's always, I said to Spencer, you go to the extreme for everything. It's like, Spencer, don't walk on the curb. Why? Because then you just fall and you break your head open and then your brain will go all over the floor. No, dude, you could just you could trip and hurt yourself, and then you'd be angry for the rest of the day. Like, you don't need to take it. Spencer, don't play with that pencil. Why? Because I could jam it in my eye and then it goes to my brain and then my brain leaks out of my eye. Dude, like, no. Like, what the no, like, you can hurt yourself. Like, if you're just, playing with the pencil and running around with it, you could fucking stab yourself in the hand, and stuff like that. But takes it to the extreme. And there's a lot of kids, who like you said, they think they want their emotions and they keep talking about it and it gets worse and worse
Yeah.
and worse. Kids, when we grew up, it was you are to be seen and not heard. And it was like, we grew up and yeah, we feel like shit, and sometimes some things should have been heard,
Hmm.
because there was a lot of shitty stuff
Yeah.
that went on that kids weren't heard. But now, like, a lot of kids want to be heard about, like during the COVID thing, like, there was kids ratting on their parents. My parents are having people over, and then the parents come and the cops take them away.
Yeah.
Like, no, shut your fucking mouth. Don't you dare rat on the family. And
Well, I think it's something that a lot of parents should pay attention in, like, what's going on in schools too. Because I know in my kids' school, they like it's like the 7 habits of successful people type thing. But the way that in which that they're teaching it, these kids, which is not all of it, this is what makes it so frustrating, because not all of it is bad, but how sometimes it's implemented is like not the best. Because what it's doing, it's great for a kid to want to be independent, but making them independent of their parents so young as in 7, being like, no, I don't have to listen to my parents because I can do what I want to do. And you're like, you know how many times I have had to tell my little, I'm your mom.
yeah,
I'm your mom. You listen to me. You can do whatever the fuck you want when you're out of my house, but you're in my house now. Like,
yeah,
no. And he's like, oh, well, but Miss so and so said. I was like, I don't care what she says. I'm your mom. Like, and doing these things like, oh, well, my teacher said that you don't have to look over my work. And I was like, but I'm going to look over. No, you don't have. Yes, I'm going to do that. I don't care what she says. She's not your mom. She's with you for 1 year. I'm with you for the rest of your life. That's
yeah,
exactly what I said to him, and he
yeah,
shut up. Because my husband is very gentle with things. I'm just not. I can't.
yeah,
I'm just like, I'm done. I'm over it. Nope.
yeah,
And my son will look at me like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but a lot of these different things are going on where, um, there's examples of, with the whole social emotional learning things, like they'll give the kids a math problem, like, so Johnny went to Disney and it took his family 4 hours and 30 minutes going this way and only 2 hours and many minutes to go this way. So how many minutes what's the difference between how many hours or whatever. But before they're supposed to answer the question, they go, so, so why do you think it is that Johnny's family is able to go to Disney and some other families are not? Yeah. Shit like that.
The added stress that was forced on them since 2020 is outrageous, forcing them to have opinions on like trans movements and taking them out of schools because of cough being forced to grow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we saw a lot of the shit that went on in schools during the pandemic because the parents stood home and had to watch their kids do school learning on a computer, and they heard what these teachers were saying, and then all of a sudden the parents got pissed off, and then guess what? The parents became domestic terrorists because
Oh,
they didn't
yeah.
want the fucking teachers to be telling their kids these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you're not wrong, and it was funny because I just saw the other day that Congress didn't approve a renewal of a program for people who can't afford internet. It was some
Mhm.
$35 billion program, and now they're putting it out as like, oh, the Congress doesn't want the government doesn't want to fund, the underprivileged and all. It's like we're not supposed to. Like
This is what I don't understand. Who like I'm sure there are people there out there that don't have the internet, but I think that's by choice.
few and far
Because
between.
there's like homeless people that I see that have, hey, cash app me at so and so. So I don't know who, like how many billion?
$35 billion
Yeah. So like
for it's an
how
incentive program. So if you
who
make a certain amount of money, you only pay a certain amount for internet, and then the government funds the rest of it. But like you said, like who doesn't have like the lowest internet right now is probably what, like 50, $60 you can get for like 1G or something like that. Like I think we're spending like $80 for Google Fiber,
yeah.
but and now in most of the cities you have 5G. So like you can
Yeah.
get like all like and they send kids home with
Laptops.
with laptops and stuff that have internet on it. So like I don't it just it's just government funding that they're putting in their fucking pockets again. It's more
Yeah.
tax and spend bullshit.
I really am curious to see, like, who are these people that don't have the internet? Like, I don't want to sound, I don't know,
Presumptuous.
naive,
Yeah, or
but like, who
the same people
who?
who don't have internet are the same people who have $300 Gucci bags and are complaining that they can't feed their kids McDonald's at the end of the day. It's the same fucking people. So people who don't know how to budget their money and people who don't know how to be parents, who don't know how to manage their own money in the correct way. It's the same people who will get their taxes and spend it on family vacations when they're 2 months behind in rent. It's
Mhm.
those kind of people. Google Fiber will give you free Wi-Fi if the home is already wired for fiber.
Yeah, are they trying to say like are they saying like in the cities? Are they trying to say in
They-
rural
They're saying they're
areas
saying urban
or
areas. They're saying urban areas basically is what they're saying. Is that because they keep reiterating even during the pandemic they were saying that inner city children don't have access to internet. The same
is
inner
it the
city
same
children.
way that they say that like was it, oh, well, black people can't find the DMV? Is it those same people that
Yep.
they're talking
This is it.
about?
Yep. Yeah.
This is why we can't have voter ID
Yeah.
type thing?
Yeah.
Dude, that was when I heard that and people being
I think
like,
so.
"Yeah." That was like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
Yeah.
life. It's just like, how
But once again, it's the people in the government who are saying that you're too stupid. They're telling a certain demographic that they're too stupid to know things. And
Yeah.
people should be upset about that, but the people who should be upset about that are upset about that, but the people who are the racists are the ones
Are
telling them,
calling the other people racist.
yeah, are the ones saying that, they're right. You can't find the DMV. I'm sorry, I can't find what? Oh, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I have a black friend. So my black friend says that they can find the DMV. And you're like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? Like, what's what? Huh?
I
It's
don't know. This is really bothering me. Like,
it's one once
where, like 35, no, but it's the thing that blows my $35 billion.
well, look what
Like,
the New York City thing, where they're gonna give migrants, what was it, $1,600 a month. It's a
mhm.
$53 million project. They're gonna give 100 and something migrants 1,600 a month, and it came out to, what was it, 2 point something million dollars, and then the rest, 40 something million dollars was to overhead. That's the problem. That's the problem, and that's why I don't really donate to anything, because if you ever look, when you donate money to certain organizations, like 90-something% of the organizations, if you
Ugh,
look,
Red Cross.
if you look, the overhead is 95% of what you donate. So if you're donating $100, $95 goes back into the Red Cross and $5 goes to the actual people. So it's just
Dude,
it's just
yeah.
nonsense garbage. And
That
and
goes to
this,
what I was saying before about churches. I'm not gonna lie, because anyway, I'm done. I'm not gonna talk about it.
in the projects would be equivalent to Truman Road and Prospect Road here in Casey. Yeah. I mean, but I guarantee you, once again, if there's money there. We get taxed out the ass here. We get city tax,
Yeah.
county tax, and state tax. So you're telling me you can't find the money? And then the fucking assholes, oh boy. Then the assholes tried to put a tax in the other day for new stadiums for the Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs, and everybody went, go fuck yourself. And then they're like, well, you don't
Yeah.
want new stadiums? No, fuck you. You want a new stadium? You build it. You spend the money. We're not getting any money from your fucking $30 beers. No,
Right.
it's for you to
Ugh.
go and pay and buy for you to go and get more top prospects. Oh yeah, then the school tax and casino tax.
Why? 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 Why do you need them?
Because, like I said, if you think about it, we were taxed up the ass for everything. God forbid you win money at the casino, they're going to tax you on that too. And then it's so stupid. Like listen, I hope I'm home so our family can just be together and we could just go all at the same time together, like they did in fucking, like in Terminator, when that big giant thing just blew up and everybody was like, and Sarah Connor just evaporated. Like it's just it's we need, and to be honest with you, if the fucking internet reset and the whole fucking Wi-Fi and everything went down, good. Fucking good. Everybody would
And
have
that
to be,
35 billion could actually go to something.
but not only that, now you'd have to depend on your neighbors, and you'd have to fucking barter, and it'd start everything all over again. We're really convenient. We're really way over convenience in this country. Like, we're doing this. Like,
Yes.
come on. Like, I have fucking DVDs at the ass. I have 3 screens. I have a computer that, like, I'm very, very, for as much as I'm like, I'm fucking poor, we have no money. Like, I'm very fucking rich, and I have a great family, and so I'm rich in family. I'm rich in things, and sometimes I'm fucking spoiled when I'm just like, yeah, my Lincoln won't make it to work because I got a donut on it, I'm like, I gotta drive 55 because I got a fucking donut and I gotta get to work. I got to take now it takes me 2 hours to get to work. When it was and sent to schools and school taxes for the inner city schools.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, we didn't have anything, and here we are, hour and a half later.
I know. Like, we didn't even know the thing that we did have. We didn't even talk about.
No. I mean, because there's a lot of, especially like with pop culture stuff, and a lot of, and a lot of stuff with these third wave feminist bullshit. You know, I got a solution for third wave feminism. Let men be men. Okay? Let men be men. If you see some lady being assaulted in the street, let a man be a man and beat the shit out of him like he's supposed to. But no, you got Daniel Penny, the guy from New York, who was helping a woman out, and now he's arrested and going to jail for murder because he tried to hold the guy down from assaulting a woman. And then now you have women in New York getting punched in the face going, "Where are the men?
Oh, yeah.
Where are the men?"
100%.
Yeah. Where are the men? Men have stopped fucking helping because men don't want to go to jail for helping out, you know, and then being labeled as something and end up in jail because they,
Yeah.
you know, and
We've
so,
emasculated men. That's what's
yeah.
happened. And the thing is like I hate the third wave feminists because like it's just like, no, we don't need men. Men bad. Blah. And when it's just like when it started out, it was supposed to be like, let's actually be equal and be partners. Like give us like what we need, you know, like to be equals.
Well, that's it.
But also respecting that there's differences between men and women and like, hey, let's have mutual respect for each other.
Well, third
Instead of,
wave.
hey, saying that I'm hysterical and throwing me into a dark room until I'm not hysterical anymore. Like, let's be equals. Send me to a penitentiary like I would a man.
Listen, I'm not saying they didn't do some fucked up shit to women back in the day. They did some fucking horrible. Hey, listen, she floats. She's a witch. Burn her. Wait, what? She's a witch. She. What does the duck do? It floats. She floats. Burn her. She's a witch. But this right here. You have one where you know these women are like, I want to be, I'm independent and all this stuff, and then you get this.
So I have zero shame in telling a man that after 3 months you are paying my bills, and if you're not, bye bye. There's 7 billion people in the world. If you can't do it, somebody else will. So I have no shame.
But half of those are women, and a lot of them are children. So technically, it's probably about 2 to 3 billion in your pool. But then you got to get the gays in there too. So maybe 2 billion. Maybe.
You're doing the wrong thing. You're throwing facts in there. You can't throw logic and facts in it.
Sorry. I mean, I'm trying to help a girl out.
Need to bring me food every once in a while. I can do a guy, and I said, yeah, after 3 months, pay my bills. And he said, no. Like, a guy knows, like, oh, if I really like her and she's not crazy, yeah, I would pay her bills. Maybe I threw it out.
If she's not really crazy, I'll pay her bills after 3 months.
I'm sorry, but literally, are there dudes out there that are like, yeah, I'll pay your bills, girl?
There's this thing called pay pigs, who guys will pay women to emasculate them, and they will pay them. There's women who will actually have a man drive them to the bank, and the man will give her money for rent and to buy things.
Okay, well then that's like, I'll give her 1 million people out there. So it went from 7 billion to maybe 1 million.
Maybe. I mean, listen, even less than that. There's probably maybe 100,000 people that would do that in the entire world. In the entire world. I mean, you're talking about a fucking piece of sand in a beach of people who will do that. But
out there too soon. Men don't understand the investment and the benefit and how we're trying to make sure that we're not getting played. I can't help you, men. Don't talk to us. You're not the one. We're not talking to brokies.
Or here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Now, I'll go and say, I didn't see where that girl's video was. I didn't, because she wasn't tagged in it. Could it be a put on? Yeah. But I've seen enough videos to know that that's actually a thing. That's an actual thing where women will say that they expect a man to pay on, like, do you remember that girl that was that who had 4 kids, and the one dad brought food for the one kid that was his, and she was pissed off because he didn't bring food for the other 4 kids, so she threw out the food for the one kid.
No.
Yeah, that was a big thing a couple months ago. Yeah.
Oh,
The guy she said, "You know I have 4 kids. Why did you just bring food for the one kid?" And he goes, "That one kid is mine. That's the only kid I have to feed." And she went, "I don't care. I got 4 kids. If you're gonna bring food, you gotta bring food for all 4 kids." And he went, You have their dad bring them food. I'm bringing food for my kid." And she goes, "I don't care. I threw it out because you didn't bring food for everybody." Yeah, that was the thing.
what about sharesies? Like sharesies? Like that's not a thing in other places?
What about, I guarantee you he's paying enough in child support. I guarantee you the other 3 kids' dads are paying enough in child support that she can afford to bring them something. But I guess he felt that his kid wasn't getting anything, so I did. I did.
Good for you.
I did. Listen,
But
I'm
you
a
say put that shit away.
I'm a traditional guy, and not for nothing. Here, I'm a traditional guy, okay? But it also has to feel right. Like, if I didn't feel anything on the first date, I would have been like, "Okay, you can pay." You know, if I no, to be honest, like, if I didn't feel a certain way about it, like, I would okay, because I don't know if I've done it. I haven't gotten on many fucking dates, to be honest with you. But, like, if I were to, like if I were to get a vibe that, like, this it wasn't gonna lead to anything else, okay. Like, if this was a one and done, okay, that's it. No problem, you know?
I haven't been on like a date, like a first date, since like the late 2000s. So I don't know how it works anymore.
I was thinking about the other day, I gotta take her on a date real bad because we haven't been on a date in a while, and I know before long it's gonna be the baby's here, and we're not gonna be able to fucking do anything, so I gotta take her on a date. She still owes me a
Yeah.
date where she wears a dress. I don't care how fucking big she gets with the baby, she's wearing a fucking dress on our date. You heard me, madam. I said it.
She's like, I'll wear one if you wear one.
No. No,
Could
I
it be
told
a
her.
skort?
Well, you know, I told her we were supposed to dress up and go on a date, which, which we still have, but like I said, everything's starting to settle down, which is nice. Today we went out for
Mhm.
breakfast. She took me to this place called Mom and Pa's restaurant, which was this old like I want dude, you want to talk about a fucking time machine DeLorean? I walked into a DeLorean today. I walked in and I smelled smoke. I looked over and this dude was having a cigarette. And
Oh, no way.
I was like, holy shit, I fucking love it here. Like and there was just people just smoking, just fucking eating breakfast. And I was like, I remember when we used to go home and you smell like smoke, you're like, ah, this is gross. Now I came home
Yeah.
and smell like smoke. I'm like, smells like the old days. It
Oh,
was so
yeah.
dis-
That's
it was so
crazy.
dis- yeah, it
Oh,
was so
did
nostalgic.
they
It was great.
have a cigarette dispenser? Like, you put the money in
I
and you pull the knob and the pack comes out?
I don't think so, but I think it was just like they had fucking I looked over and they have fucking whatchamacallit, ashtrays, and I
Mhm.
was like, holy shit, this is fucking it was amazing. It was so nostalgic and nice to see like Americana. Like it's the way it used to be, and it's so nice to see that there's still places that have that. It's still,
Mhm.
where like people could just be people. And remember there was smoking and not smoking. I remember I went to
Oh,
Pennsylvania like
yeah.
15 years ago, and I remember it was like a couple years, like 5 6 years after that ban that they had, and I went to Pennsylvania and they were like smoking or not, and I'm like, you guys still have smoking or non-smoking here? And then it got banned everywhere. But yeah, it was nice to see there's places in Missouri that just don't give a fuck still, and it's nice, and that's why I love it out here.
Yeah.
I said to Amanda Cody when Cody was like, "Dad, you were made for out here," and I was like, "Yeah, I am."
I have a theory that a lot of northern people are actually southerners and they don't realize it until because the attitudes are like pretty much the same. Like if you lived in a city, like not like the bougie part of a city, but like, you know, not the bougie part of the
Yeah.
city, you are a southerner. Like that's how my family was. My parents like born raised in Philly. The second that they moved down here, it was like they were home.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I got a truck. He got every fucking accessory to this truck. So excited. He's a boater now. Like, let's go
But
fishing. Okay.
even when I lived in Jersey, I lived in Sussex County, which is like the woods. You know,
Yeah.
where I lived in Sussex, it was just you turned off at 23, which is one of the major highways in Jersey, and you drove for about a mile and a half, and then you just came up to this lake community, and that was where I lived. There was no streetlights at all. So at night it was dark, like especially during
Hmm.
Sandy. When Hurricane Sandy hit, every night was pitch black because there were no
Yeah.
street lights, you know, and no house lights and nothing. Because nobody had electricity. But like I loved it. I loved it. So when I moved out here, I was just like, country road, take me home to a place I belong, Missouri.
my Cooper loves that song. He's
It's
like, Mom, it's about you. And I was like, no. Mountain Mama. He's like, that's you.
suburban.